What up, though, y'all? It's Chris, broadcasting to you from the D. Let's get right into this topic, man. I recently saw a viral video. It was a young man complaining about dealing with black folks in a restaurant and how black folks don't tip, specifically black women. And the description he gave of his experience working at a Waffle House, I ain't gonna hold y'all up. I know exactly what the hell he's talking about. He said he worked at a Waffle House. It was this black woman that would come in every day. And she had to be so specific. Everything had to be made exactly how she wanted. She'd stand there basically barking out orders. The eggs had to be made a certain way. The grits had to be a certain consistency. The sausage had to be a certain level of crispy. And I was like, man, I know exactly what the hell he's talking about. And then she would never tip him. So, okay, the thing is, like, a tip is a gratuity, all right? Like, a tip is a reflection of the quality of service that one feels like you get. However, me personally, I believe that if you're gonna be extra as all get out and you see the person is being friendly and doing their best to accommodate you, you should throw them a gratuity. He also was mentioning about if there'd be like a table of black folks, he would not want to go over there. He said he'd be ready to cry. That cracked me the hell up because, again, I've seen what he's talking about. You know, I think if you're gonna be that level of picky, you should just make your own food at home because people, they don't know you. This isn't your man. This isn't your daddy. He don't know you. It's some stranger at a restaurant. And so to expect him to make stuff to your extremely strict specifications of how you like everything made is just insane to me. To be to the point of where you're actually gonna sit up there overseeing the creation of the meal. Yeah, you probably should just go ahead and make your food at home, man. You a little too picky. This also strikes me as one of them strong and independent types that don't need no man, because men aren't going to deal with stuff like this. You know, I give you an example. I had went out with this one chick that I know. It was just a friend. It wasn't anything romantic. We went and we had lunch. We had a meal at a Coney Island this one time. This was a few years ago. Shout out to you guys, my local Detroiters. You know what a Coney Island is. For those of you on the outside, a Coney Island, it's like a diner, basically. They sell really generic food. I used to think Coney Island food was so good when I was younger. Now, I don't like Coney Island food that much. I'll go there to a Coney to get certain things, you know, if I'm in a mood for wingdings or a bacon burger, but I generally don't get much from a Coney Island anymore. They use the lowest quality ingredients when it comes to everything. So when I started eating better, trying to take care of my body and be more fit, I phased Coney Island out like almost completely. But nonetheless, we were at a Coney Island and she's looking at the menu and she's ordering, and she's just being so difficult with, can this be made this way? Can this be made that way? What if she wants it this way? What if she wants it that way? And I'm just like, can you just order something to eat instead of turning it into, you know, a homework project? Just order something to eat. See, this is how us men are. We're very simple. We're going to look on the menu, find something that we like, and just get it. And if there's some adjustments we want made to it, it's going to be something simple. Okay, I'm getting a burger, no pickles. You know, it don't have to be, oh, cook it this temperature, but slightly below that temperature. No, we're just going to get the fucking burger. You know, we typically keep it simple. I never went to go have lunch with her again. I didn't even bring up the fact that she was being ridiculously picky, because you guys might think, okay, maybe I'm being a little overcritical with the ordering, but no, you would have had to have been there. It was over the top difficult. And then when the food came and they did their best to try to make everything to her very unique guidelines, she was then complaining that certain things still weren't made exactly how she wanted them. Why are you giving this waitress a hard time, man? She making like $2 and something an hour plus tips. She not the one who cooked it. And the guy in the back, he looking at the ticket, trying his best to follow what your specifications are. As I said, just being difficult for no reason. And a tip was left because I left the tip. But I digress. I know what he's talking about having a sister standing over his shoulder, wanting the most and not wanting the tip. I can also give you another example of this. I was like 26. I worked at Macy's. There we had a yogurt counter there, frozen yogurt. And of course, our clientele base or customer base, it was mostly women. Almost every time it was a sister. They were so picky. They had to have this amount of grapes, this amount of strawberries, this amount of nuts, this amount of M&Ms, because we had a lot of different options. And they would stand there pointing and watching you. And we weighed the ice cream, or I'm sorry, frozen yogurt. We weighed it. So you had to give them a certain amount via the policy or whatever. And then they be want you to give them more. And they never freaking tipped. And it was when I was working here that I learned that a lot of black folks be wanting hookups, but don't know how to take a hookup. Because in the event that some would ask me, hey, can you give me a little more or whatever, I'd go ahead and do it. And they know I'm not supposed to, right? I'm doing this just as a gratuity to them. Even though they're not even gonna tip me, I'm still trying to provide them with a customer service. Nah, that came back to burn me, because they'll come there the next day when you're not there, and they know they weren't supposed to get the amount you gave them. They'll expect the person that's there to do the same thing, and then when they don't, they'll complain, and they'll say, oh, well, and in my case, the tall, dark-skinned guy that was here, he did it for me. See what I mean? I stopped doing the hookup stuff when that happened, because manager came to me. He wasn't mean or nasty in any way. He was like, just make sure that you're weighing the amount that you give them and stick to it for every single customer. No problem. And so I did from then on. So yeah, you could hook black folks up. They know they being hooked up, and then they'll come and expect the hookup from somebody else. And when they don't give it to them, they'll then out you. All right, they about to give you up. The fact that you hooked them up, man. No, I stopped doing that, man. So yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about. I've dealt with it, and I know for a fact it usually is sisters. It's not usually men. And this isn't me trying to be funny or whatever. Anybody that denies that this is the case, they are being willfully oblivious to it, because black women don't even be wanting to wait on black women. If it is a table of black women and the server is a black woman, she does not want to go over there and do that table. She knows she's gonna deal with a bunch of attitude. She know they're gonna be overly picky, overly entitled, and they're going to either leave no tip or a very small tip. You can't bend over backwards enough for them to leave you a tip. The thing about when you're dealing with a restaurant, like let's say Waffle House, and you go there every single day, if you're a person who tips, that makes all the difference. Because not only does the person not see you as a hassle, they'll memorize whatever it is that you want, and they'll happily do it. Like, you'll come in, they'll see you, they'll immediately get to working on your order, making it the way that you like it, and it's not going to be no problem. They're going to hit that metric for you every single time, because they know that you're at least showing them some sort of gratefulness for them bending over backwards to accommodate your very very strict standards of how you want things made. So there you have it, man. That video of the dude complaining, it really cracked me up. You could hear in the tone of his voice, he was like still salty about them experiences. I feel him. I've had plenty of them myself, but if I go through all of them, this video will easily become like 30 minutes long. So I'm gonna leave it there though, y'all. Hit me with a like if you like what I do. Hit me with a sub if you like what I do. Hit me in them comments. I'll holler at y'all soon. Peace.